I will be taking Elegy Written in a Country Churchyard by Thomas Gray. We have already done the first stanza of the poem. Now we'll start from the second stanza onwards. Now fades the glimmering landscape on the sight, and all the air a solemn stillness hold. So, soon after the ringing of the curfew bell and the return of the farmers from their fields, the evening falls and the landscape appears to be glimmering, dimming gradually, fainting gradually, glimmering, fainting gradually. So, the entire landscape is enveloped with darkness and the nothing can be seen. And because it is night time, all the villagers they have gone to sleep, so the entire atmosphere is so kind of a serious calmness prevails over the entire atmosphere. Air means atmosphere. Solomon, serious. Stillness, calmness, where there is no movement. So, a kind of serious calmness prevails over the entire atmosphere. But the poet says that there is complete silence and there is no movement, because it is night time and all the villagers they have gone to sleep, but there are still you can hear some of the sounds. So in the subsequent lines he is going to tell you about the different sounds that you can hear during night time. And what are these sounds? Save, except. Save is except where the beetle is a kind of an insect, wheels his droning flight. So it is an insect which generally has 4 wings and it moves in a circle. So wheeling his droning, and while it it flies, it makes a droning humming sound. So you can hear the sound of the beetle, and you can also hear drowsy tinklings lull the distant fold. Tinklings are the jingling bells which are tied around the neck of the animals, and they perform the role of a mother, just as a mother sings a lullaby in order to make the child sleep. In the same way, these animals and the jingling sound of the bells tied round their neck, they lull, they induce sleep into the distant fold, distant villagers who are staying at different places. And now drowsy tinkling is an example of transferred epithet. Tinklings are not drowsy, but the animals are drowsy because they are going to sleep, they are feeling sleepy. So there's the sound of the beetle, there's the sound of the tinkling jingling bells of the bells which are tied around the neck of the animals, and also save that from yonder ivy mantled tower. Save again is except, yonder, there. Ivy is a plant or a creeper which is evergreen. So the tower is covered by the ivy plant. So ivy is an evergreen creeper, as I told you, and it generally covers desolate and ruined buildings where there is not much habitation. So ivy creeper takes hold of such buildings. And the moping, now you can also see how beautifully the poet has expressed. Ivy mantle tower. Mantle is a kind of a gown which is human beings wear, but he is in a way treating tower as a living being, as if it is wearing the mantle of the ivy. The moping, silent and dull. silent and dull. The word moping refers to the solitary, lonely habitat of the owl. It complains because generally what you see is that owls, prefer to live in solitude. The moping owl does to the moon complain of such as wandering near her secret bar, molest her ancient solitary reign. So the owl complains to the moon that those who are passing by, they disturb the place, her silence and her comfort, her because it prefers to stay. The moon, the owl prefers to stay in lonely places, and so he says molest her ancient solitary reign. They disturb, she says that the passers, as they pass by, they disturb the peace and solitude of the place where it has been ruling for quite a long period. Ancient is old, solitude, lonely, reign, to prevail, to hold, to sway, means to have one's reign on, to have one's hold on. So it says that the people who are passing by, they disturb her solitude, which has been her privilege for quite a long time. Now, in Greek mythology, the owl has been fancifully represented as a lady in a medieval castle under curse. She complains to her lover, the moon, about persons who disturb her in her solitude. Beneath those rugged elves. Now, in the first three stanzas, the poet has described the external atmosphere, that it is the evening time. In the first stanza, he says that it is the evening time when the farmers are returning from their fields, and the women, they have finished their daily chores and are now ready to sleep. And in the second and third stanza, he describes the atmosphere, that it is complete, you know there is complete stillness all over the atmosphere because night has already fallen. And also he, talks about certain, he gives you the images of nature, the beetle, the tower. But one thing notice, that because the tone of the poem is melancholy, so all the images that he has taken from nature, they are also associated with some kind of solitude or loneliness, means they don't convey you the happiness that nature gives you. So it is in perfect there's a perfect coordination between the theme and the kind of language and the images that the poet has used. Beneath those rugged elms, now he comes to the main point, where he will be talking about the villagers, their fate, and how the death levels all rich and poor. After death, there is no difference between rich and poor, beautiful and ugly, old and young, all they lie buried under the earth. So rugged elms are the trees. Rugged elm trees which are hard and twisted from outside. The yew the yew tree shade, the yew trees of Grace time still exists in Stock Church. The tree shades several groves with its huge branches. So, and the turf is the surface of land matted with roots of grass. Mouldering heaps are decaying mounds of earth. Narrow cell is the grave. Narrow cell is the grave, forever laid. means are permanently lying in their graves after their death. The root is rustic, simple people. The people were buried in the churchyard, the rich inside the church. Hamlet is the village. So now he comes to the point that beneath those elm trees, under the shade of those yew trees, where in the decaying heaps of sand, you will find the graves of these people, rustic poor people. The root are the poor people, rustic poor people who are laid, who are buried forever under those heaps. The root forefathers of the Hamlet. Sleep is a metaphor for death. Sleep is a metaphor for death. So he says all these poor people, they are lying. Look at the word narrow. The adjective narrow. He is emphasizing that these poor simple people are allotted only a few inches in order to bury them. They don't get, even after their death, there's a kind of a discrimination between the rich and poor. But he says after death, all are, leveled. The rich, there is no difference, because the rich also mingles with dust, just as the poor mingles with dust. Now he, here in this stanza, the coming stanza, because he's talking about morning, which is a symbol of youth, of energy, of spring, he is using some words which have very fine, beautiful, happy associations. The breeze call of incense breathing morning. In the morning, many flowers bloom, and they all are fragrant, and it is a kind of a call, because the wind, breezy call, the wind that blows in the morning, it is full of fragrance. The swallow twittering from, and you can hear the beautiful chirping of the swallow are the birds from the straw built shed. Shed is the nest which are made of straw. So these all make chirping sound. These birds make chirping sound from their nest in the morning. Cock's shrill clarion. Clarion is a wind instrument, musical instrument. Shrill is harsh. The you know the cock which makes you get up early in the morning with its shrill voice, or the echoing horn. Now, clarion is a wind instrument producing a shrill sound. No more, never. Shall awaken, shall rouse, shall awaken. Will them village forefathers long buried in their graves. Lowly bed means their humble graves in which the ancestors of the poor villagers have been sleeping in their humble bed. So he says once a person dies, then nothing can wake them up, whether it is the fragrant wind blowing in the morning, or the swallows chirping from their nest, or the cock making you get up. Nothing is going to wake them up from their lowly bed. Lowly is humble, means they have gone to sleep forever. Now we'll be taking subsequent stanza next time. Thank you.